Hey, it's Heidi. Welcome back for another video. I'm really glad you're here. This is a big one today, isn't it? I mean, if you have a relationship with a toxic mom, you know exactly how painful that is, especially when we have society telling us how we are supposed to deal with our mom. Oh, well, that's your mom. Oh my God, you're not talking to your mom? Well, you're thinking about not talking to your mother? Well, you only have one mother. I mean, how could you possibly think? I mean, oh my gosh, that must be so hurtful to her. And you get the opinions of other people around you and how we are portrayed as mothers, and mothers are portrayed in this society, that how dare you actually think about taking a stand? I mean, what's wrong with you? Maybe you're the problem, right? Maybe you're the toxic one. Maybe you're the narcissist. In fact, your mom might have even said that to you in a moment where she was feeling like you were taking control of your life and it was all about you and not about her anymore, that she projected that image onto you. And I could tell you how many students and clients I have walk into my programs and tell me and wonder, like, am I the fucked up one? Like, am I toxic? Am I a narcissist? And I'm like, very rarely does a narcissist come into a coaching program and wonder if they're the narcissist. They're not coming into coaching programs, number one, and they're certainly not asking that question, number two. But it can be really confusing. Is my mom toxic? Is this normal? Is this even dysfunctional? Do I have a right not to want to talk to her anymore? How do I say this so everybody's okay? How do I deal with my siblings' opinions around this? Do I have a relationship still with my father if he's still alive? How do I navigate the dynamics? Well, if you're here, I'm going to guess that it's gotten bad enough where you want to know how to put down some boundaries around this situation so that you can have your peace back. It's excruciating. I don't think there's a relationship that's more painful when you don't have the approval or love or feel like you have a close connection with your mom, the kind that you envision that you should have, especially if you have your own children. You have a barometer of how that bond is supposed to be. And it can be really painful when you're looking at your relationship with your mom and thinking, man, that's far from what I have. You could have been in and out trying multiple times throughout the years to try to navigate this relationship, and you just find over and over you continually get hurt or rejected, or any number of the ways that the toxic flavor that your mom is doing with you in this dynamic. Now, I want to clarify first, because like I said, oh, sorry about that noise. That's okay. I'm in the middle, so there's going to be lots of like rumblings and things like that. So sorry about that. If you're in a relationship with a toxic mom, you might be thinking to yourself, is this even really that bad? You've heard other stories where people have like been abused by their mom, or their moms have been really violent, and maybe your mom's not kind of like that. So you're like, well, is it really toxic? Well, I'm going to go through with you. That's my cat. If you can hear it, my cat is rustling the paper in there, so I'm sorry about that noise. Sometimes it drives me crazy when I hear little noises in videos. We're going to keep rolling anyway. So you might be wondering, is this toxic? It's not overtly abusive. If it is overtly abusive, by all means, you definitely need to be here too to set a boundary. But some of the other things that are less like she's hitting you or verbally annihilating you, some of these other ways that you still know it's toxic, I'm going to walk through so that you have, because I think it's just good to have that confirmation. I know it makes you crazy wondering. Okay, so it's really good to have that level of validation. Does somebody come alongside of you and go, no, that's not okay? Especially if you have a toxic mom where you verbalize to her, hey, what you're doing or how you're behaving is not okay. And she's straight out gaslit you and said, well, you're crazy. This is how all families are. All mothers behave this way. Nobody treats me like you treat me. Well, I bet you their daughters don't act like you do. You're the one, with all the problems, and you're the reason she's acting that way. So let me just clarify a couple things. One of the first ways you know that your relationship with your mom is toxic is that you feel like you're always walking on eggshells. You feel like you're in a tripwire and you never know what's going to set her off. A lot of toxic moms have a 0 to 60 just like this. They have a rage thing they go into, and you never know. One minute you're having fun, and then the next minute you said the wrong thing or you did the wrong thing and you set her off. Now, look, do we all have the potential to have a bad temper? Can we all like get really angered? And there's a big difference between somebody who every now and again is having a bad day and like erupts and then comes back immediately and says, I'm so sorry. But this type of person, when they're toxic and they're blowing up at you and they're going from 0 to 60, they'll look straight at you and say, it's all your fault. I'm behaving this way. If you didn't do what you did, I wouldn't have acted this way towards you. And again, that's gaslighting. That's taking their abusive behavior and blaming you for them acting the way that they're acting. And they're trying to justify, rationalize their own behavior through you as the scapegoat. So if you're constantly walking on eggshells and you feel like you can't be yourself, that's an indicator that this is a toxic situation. That is a toxic mom. Now, look, mothers have an idea of how they want their daughters to be, sure. When any child is born, they have an idea, oh, I have such hopes for her. I want her to be this way, or wouldn't it be great? But there's a big difference between that, a normal, healthy, like prayer request that your kid's going to turn out okay, and feeling like she's a constant disappointment to you and vocalizing that to you, oh, you're constantly disappointing me. You feel like you can never do anything right. That comes in with the kind of toxic mom that has a lot of judgment, you know? It's one thing to have discernment. Well, honey, this doesn't sound as right for you as this because I'm listening to what you're saying to me, and this path doesn't seem to align with what you really want. I'm making a judgment there, but I'm making a wise judgment based upon the discernment of what's all the moving pieces versus I can't believe you did that. I would never do something like that. Why would you think that? Why would you behave that way? What's the matter with you that you think that that's okay? That's the kind of judgment that I'm talking about, that has this tone of condemnation, constant criticism over you. And you might be afraid to share things with your toxic mom because you're afraid to say anything to her because you know it's going to be criticized. Well, you shouldn't have done it that way. Or shouldn't have. If you have a letdown with her and you're afraid to, now there's a difference. Some moms will say, hey, I've been hurt. I have this, these girls, these women I'm dealing with, they're judging me and they're acting terrible. And mom might say, healthy mom might say, well, honey, you shouldn't know, I could have told you those women weren't, come on, come over here. What do you need to feel better? Versus, well, you fall for it every time because you just don't think, you just don't use your brain. What's the matter with you? I mean, I told you a long time ago, you get yourself, what'd you do to make them not like you? You see the difference here? And I'm spending a lot of time going over this with you because it's very helpful to hear from another living, breathing human being, oh yeah, that's kind of fucked up. We don't know. We lose our sense of like what's normal and what's okay, especially if you've been subjected to this kind of stuff your whole entire life, okay? To any degree. So you're going to ask yourself, well, yeah, that doesn't seem normal. That's why I'm making that delineation, that distinction. Seems like this is kind of normal and this is like above and beyond, okay? Toxic land, dysfunction train, toot, toot, okay? Another thing is control. Now, again, can people be controlling? Yeah, I can be controlling, all right? Well, I don't want you to do this because you might hurt yourself and let me try to orchestrate this so it works out perfectly, There's a big difference between that and I'm not going to let you do anything. And I'm going to control every single aspect of your life, who you talk to, where you go, we've all had situations. If you grew up with a toxic mom, likely you had a toxic man at some point in your life too that was very controlling as well, and it originated there. Just constantly trying to control every single situation, want to know everything about your life, want to be involved in every single aspect of your life, and not trusting your own judgment, not allowing you to make your own decisions. And then when you do make your own decisions, judging those decisions very harshly, criticizing you and saying that was the wrong decision, you shouldn't have made that decision. Even if there's fallout from your decision and it wasn't the best decision for you, a non-toxic person, a healthy person doesn't say, told you so, dipshit. Okay? They don't say, yeah, you shouldn't have done that. You should have done what I told. No, a healthy person says, I'm so sorry it didn't work out for you. They're not going to pour salt in the wound, right? That's already there. Any kind of victim playing is extremely toxic. So again, that's the gaslighting where you can be hurt about something and they'll say, well, you shouldn't be hurt about that. And I'm only said that or did that because you did that thing. And I'm, if you confront your mom and you say, Mom, I don't like the way that you're talking to me. I don't like always walking on eggshells. I don't like having to be constantly, filtering everything I say because I'm afraid it's going to be judged or criticized. I just want to be able to share with you. Now, a healthy person is going to be hurt by that probably, okay? Because nobody wants to hear anything about themselves, really. And she might say, well, that's hurtful, but I'm going to take it in. I'm going to take a look at it. I don't want, so people can do these things and still be healthy people. People can like overreact and criticize and be judgmental because we're human beings. We can do that thing. Here's the difference. When I say that to a toxic person, I say, hey, you've got this behavior. This is bothering me. This is hurtful to me. A toxic person, a toxic mom will then say something like, oh, that's right. Oh, I guess it must be so nice to have perfect mothers out there. I guess, everybody's dysfunctional in some way. I guess I can't do anything right. You're right. I'm a terrible mother. I'm the worst mother in the world. Oh, woe's me. Well, there's no responsibility there. That's total victim mentality, blaming you for even bringing something up, right? Well, oh, I'm so terrible. I know. Like a grown up, a mature, healthy person is going to say, I don't like to hear that. I certainly don't like to hear that. That's hurtful. I don't want to be that way. I don't like that. I don't even see that. I don't even see that about me. But if you see it, I'm going to respect that. And I'm going to work at it, and I'm going to be aware of it. That's a healthy response, not, oh, I can't do anything right. And then you're afraid to take your criticism or your opinions, and you're afraid to voice them because the reaction that's going to come out of that is going to be this big blow up. Or if you criticize those anger, how dare you say something to me about the way that I am? Do you know what I went through for you? Do you know who the only person ever is there for you? I took care of you. You only remember the bad stuff. You never remember the good. How dare you have an opinion of me like that after everything I've been through for you? People can have done a lot for you, and you can still have an opinion that the way they treat you is not okay. They could be paying your bills. They could be buying you. Hallelujah. I know somebody just said amen. I said it too. Amen. Do you know somebody can actually be taking care of you and still be a dick? Somebody can actually be helping you and still be an asshole. They don't have to be so bad that it's like everything's falling apart. Okay? There might be good, and this is where your guilt comes in, where you feel guilty for even bringing anything up, right? In a healthy relationship, you don't feel guilty for saying, yeah, you're an amazing human, and this doesn't work for me. This is not okay with me. Yeah. And a healthy person is going to say, okay, I don't like that, but I'll work on it. A toxic person is going to say, how dare you? How dare you have an opinion of me that something's fucked up? Okay? You see the difference there? There's a big, big difference there. So, there's so much more. Another thing that toxic people do is when you're not giving them, what they want, they withhold or they reject or abandon. Now, look, we can all be guilty of this, especially women, when in our relationships, when our needs aren't met, we naturally do not want to be in one way, intimacy is the way this shows up, right? We all have that potential to pull back a little intimately when we're not getting our needs met emotionally. And we feel like, okay, that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about when you make a mistake or do the wrong thing or say the wrong thing and they totally say, you're dead to me. I reject you. I abandon you. You're out of here. I don't want anything to do with you. You're no daughter of mine. Da-da-da-da-da. Okay, you're no son of mine. No son of mine that would behave that way. How dare you behave that way? I wish I had a different son. That's toxic and not okay. But if you're guilty about that because they did take care of you or they did, do some good in your life, you'll be thinking, man, am I a dick for acting this way? Should I be a better son? What is a good son? Being good sons and good daughters is what signs us up for perpetual abuse in these toxic mother-daughter, mother-son dynamics. Okay? So there comes a point where you get to say, I'm not okay. So the first step in setting a boundary with a toxic mom is deciding what it is that you want. What kind of life do you want moving forward? Many of my students and clients, when their mother calls and they pick up the phone, before they even pick it up, their anxiety starts. They start to they get the pit in their stomach. Oh God, it's her again. Fuck, what are we going to talk about? What are we going to say? She's going to judge. What can I tell her? What can I not tell her? The anxiety already starts for them. Okay? A healthy relationship, when your mom calls, you might be annoyed, you might be in the middle of something, you might be like, God, I just talked to you 5 minutes ago, but you love your mom. You're like, hi mom, hey, I'm busy right now. Can I call you back? Right? Anxiety and trauma response, okay, doesn't come up in a healthy dynamic. That level of anxiety is like, oh shit. You shouldn't feel that way when your mom calls, right? If you do feel that way, then that's a big red flag to you. So decide, what is it that you want? What kind of a relationship do you want? Now, many of you are going to say, that is my mom. I want some kind of a relationship with her, but I don't want the other stuff with it. That's like kind of saying I want McDonald's without the calories. Okay. It is what it is. All right. I don't know how much you're going to be able to suss it out. I know with my alcoholic father, I wanted him around, but not when he was drunk. And so obviously that was kind of hard to do because he was drunk a lot because he was an alcoholic. Ding, ding. Okay. But I would get sober moments, and then when we would start to drink, I would leave. So that was how I set the boundary with him. And the boundary went like, hey, Dad, I love you. I want to spend time with you. I want to be around you. But when you drink, it makes me really anxious and uncomfortable, and it makes me upset. So when you start to drink, if you drink, so when you drink, okay, I am going to leave. I love you. I just want to have a sober connection with you. And then guess what? When he would start to drink, I would leave. And then I wouldn't get upset that he chose drinking over me, because alcoholics don't choose drinking over you. They choose to drink because that's the drink, okay? They need the drink. So you can do that with a toxic parent. You just have to expect that it's going to rain, and McDonald's is McDonald's. So like what I'm saying is, you could say, I don't want I'll be around my toxic mom, but as soon as she's toxic, I'm going to go. You're going to be going a lot. I want to talk to my mom until she's toxic, and then when she's toxic, I'm going to hang up the phone. You're going to be hanging up a lot. All right. Hey, Mom, I'm loving to talk to you, but you know what? Right now I feel like I'm criticized, and I feel like I'm feeling criticized and feeling judgment. May or may not be your intention. However, that's the way I'm feeling, because again, she doesn't need to agree with you. Well, I'm not doing that. You think that I'm judging you and criticizing you? I'm not doing that. Mom, I get that's not your intention. I'm feeling that way. So when I feel that way, that's my cue to go on and take care of myself. So if I continue to feel this way, I'm going to go ahead and hang up the phone, and we can, talk again another day. You're totally owning it. She's going to continue on. How many times are you going to have to do that? Hey, Mom, right now I'm feeling like the way you're speaking to me is not okay with me because it's triggering me up. I'm feeling anxious. I'm feeling hurt, and I don't want to feel that way. I want to feel peace. And so if you continue to speak to me that way, I'm going to hang up. She continues to do it. What are you talking about? This is so, oh God, what are you, like a psychoanalyst? Where'd you listen to Oprah? Okay. You're watching Dr. Phil. You're going to start to do her thing, and you're going to go there. So exactly. So I'm going to go ahead and hang up now. I love you. Goodbye. How many times are you going to have to do that? 500,222. Okay. A lot of times. But if you decide to have her in your life, you have to understand you're signing up. You're going in now as a willing participant. This looks scary. Eyes wide open. You're going in eyes wide open, so you don't get to go in and complain when she does her toxic thing, okay? You don't get to say, how is she so toxic? Oh my God, why does a dog bark? Fuck. Why does a hot dog taste like a hot dog? It's a toxic person because it's a toxic person. So now you have going eyes wide open. You go, toxic person, to be expected. She's acting toxic. What do I need to do now? Ding, 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 leave. And you leave. And guess what happens as soon as you start to say stuff like this? Hey, Mom, you're acting, the way you're talking to me is not okay with me. It's hurtful. I feel judged. I'm going to remove myself from this conversation. What do you think's going to happen? Oh my God, wow, how smart of you. You're really healthy. You've really grown a lot. I'm so good. Teach me your ways, Yoda. You're going to get, who the fuck do you think you are? What is this? What is that? Okay, they're not going to agree. You cannot set a boundary with a toxic mom and expect her to go, I like that. That is good for you, honey. You're in your power. She doesn't want you in your power. She wants to snuff it out. That hurt. To wake you up. She wants to snuff it out. She doesn't want to ignite your self-esteem. She wants to kill it. Maybe she doesn't want to kill it, but she does. So I don't care if there's intent or not. I know there's a difference between manslaughter and murder. Intent doesn't matter. We still dead. Okay. And toxic moms are death by 1,000 cuts. It's like, ooh, ouch, fuck, yeah. She did it again. God damn it. How many cuts do you want to get? I don't know. It's up to you. So the first thing you have to do is really decide what it is you want. Then you got to get the language around it to be able to articulate it to her. It's kind of role playing that out a little bit with you. And then by God, you got to pull that trigger 552,000 trillion billion times and keep doing it until the dance is done. Okay. Until we part ways. If you decide I've set the boundary and you know what, a little toxic is too much. It's just like a little cyanide. I don't have a taste for it anymore. It's just not in my wheelhouse of flavors. Okay. I've outgrown the taste for cyanide. I do not want contact. You better talk to your mom. You don't know how long she has left. And that's when you have to detach from other people's opinions about what you're supposed to do. And moms do this with their kids all day long too. Children that are killing themselves with addiction and don't know how to help them anymore. And their kids are like really dangerous and they have to like put them out of the house to help the other children be okay. Like there are tough decisions that we make all the time in our families, right? To have to like go no contact for whatever reason because it's not safe. Okay. So in your case, if you're not feeling safe, mother, from your mom, from this toxic dynamic, and you make the decision to go away and stay away, then it's about maintenance. It's about maintaining no contact when it's tough, because you can miss somebody and love somebody and still not want to be with them at the same time. We call that complex grief, okay, in the therapy world. Complex grief is whenever, you have these multifaceted feelings around this. You love her and you're angry at her at the same time. You wish you had a mom. You're resentful you didn't have it. And you're working through that kind of resentment and hurt. And you feel longing and a missing at the same time. And you feel a gratitude for the love that she gave you at certain times. And you remember this time when she hugged you and man, you felt that and she told you she loved you or she did whatever. And you're feeling so good about it. And you feel like so nostalgic. And then you remember when she banged your head into the wall. Okay. And you're like a game of ping pong in your head. And that's why you need support. This is a complex situation, but I'm going to tell you something. Okay, look, this is where I say support. This is where I say to you, you're here for 21 minutes. You are picking up when I'm laying down. You are smelling when I'm stepping in. We are sisters on a path. Let me come alongside you and support you as somebody who's walked through it. All the ways that I just talked about, all the ways. Let me try to do this. Let me set the boundary. Let me go no contact. All the ways and healing, continually healing, but now I'm teaching from scars and not open wounds. 2 years ago, flesh wound, gaping flesh wound, blood spurting out, would never come on and make a video about this, like to this degree, with this amount of certainty. Now here we are, scars, able to help, able to be a Sherpa, guiding you through the valley. All right. So I want to come alongside you. That's what my programs do. That's what life school is. Life school is the place where you come learn everything you need to know, but nobody ever taught you about dealing in shit shows, dealing in people, dealing in codependence, dealing in people's stuff, and how to set your boundaries and how to root down your power and find your truth and be you and do all the things that you set out to do, but didn't feel allowed to, didn't have the permission to, didn't have the fanning of your flames. Let me come fan them for a while. Let me come fan your flames for a while and figure out who you really are and root down in yourself. So Life School is where we do that. If you want to learn more about it, go to lovecoachheidi.com and learn more there. Send me a private message, comment here. But this is what we do. We make a decision how we want to be in this dynamic, and then we find the way to do it. I'll give you the steps. We practice the role play. You learn real time what she say. Here's what to say back. You send me the text. I know exactly how to. We process it in group with other women going through the same thing. Okay, and then once you make this move, here's the magic that happens. You know how you're confident in most things, but you don't have self-esteem in other areas, like your relationships suck, but your work is good, or your relationship's good, but you're not making enough money. You have this self-sabotage button and you can't figure out. Do you know this is where this comes from? Is this early relationship? And I have to tell you something. Once you rectify this wounding and you really come to terms with this, and I have processes to do it. I've invented processes to help you, because it's not just like, let it go. Let it go. I am whole and healthy. I am love. I am, no, that's not how that works. Okay. You've got to do the work. Got to get in there, get some processes rolling so that you can fully heal. But I'm going to tell you what happens when you do. Whoa. You become unleashed. You become all of you. And guess what? Nobody can tell you nothing unless it's helpful. Okay. And we want to be humble and we want to take in feedback where it applies to us. But nobody can knock you off your axis again. Nobody can make you fall to pieces like she could. Okay. Where you're feeling good and then the phone rings. Fuck. All right. I love you. I want to help you walk through this. Go over to lovecoachheidi.com and send me a private message, schedule a complimentary consultation, and let's get to work. All right?